Bro, you love local football. You should see the SPL title decider on the 3rd of May.
Okay, let's do it. On paper, this is simple. The Lion City Sailors are sitting at the top of the Singapore Premier League, unbeaten all season. A second consecutive league title is within reach as long as they don't lose tonight. Their opponents, BG Tampines Rovers, one of the oldest clubs in Singapore. With so much at stake, I had to go watch in person. This also felt like the perfect time to ask bigger questions. What exactly are the Lion City Sailors becoming? And what does it all mean for Singapore football? This match day, I find myself in Tampines. I must admit, this isn't a part of Singapore that I'm very familiar with. I grew up in the west and the central of Singapore, so coming all the way to Tampines in the east feels almost like an adventure. And in many ways, Our Tampines Hub is the best venue for this showdown because it is so very Singaporean in its design and its vibe. In Singapore, we're well known for our pragmatism. So no, a stadium can't just be a stadium. It also has to have an underground mall, a supermarket, a food court, a library, a bowling alley, an indoor swimming pool, a running track, and my favorite, a roof garden with a lovely view of the pitch. The funny thing is, you don't even need a ticket to watch the game. There's so many places where you can just stand and watch for free. But in my case, I did get a ticket, and so did many others. I think this was the most people I've seen at the SPL game for a while, which is really nice. It shows that Singapore football is garnering enough interest.
Thanks.
I took my place in the away end with the Lion City Sailors fans. And here's a big shout out to the Lion City Sailors fan group. They call themselves the Crew and they were making noise the whole night cheering their team on. And that's the sort of experience that people come to live games for. The noise, the atmosphere, the energy, and the fans. The fans were the best part of the night.
Let's go!
And not even a minute after kickoff, it looked like the Sailors gave Tampines Rovers the lead.
Oh!
Luckily for the Sailors, it was chalked off for offside.
Offside!
And that was just about the most exciting thing that happened in the first half. It was not a great half. Lion City Sailors had more of the ball, but Tampines Rovers were dangerous on the counter. So they sort of cancelled each other out there.
Alright. So usually at halftime, I'll go grab a drink. But it's the opposite, there's a library and there seems to be people watching the game from the library. So I'm going to check that out.
Let's see how long this will take.
Yeah, I got a lot of people.
Just 3 minutes for me to get from the stands to the library, and oh my goodness, the aircon was much needed. So I am in Tampines Library right now, and you can basically watch the game for free here, in air conditioning, which is really nice. I stayed all the way till the second half kicked off, and truth be told, I am still in disbelief at how great the viewing experience was from the library. I was almost reluctant to go back to the stands. I think air conditioning was great, but nothing beats being with the fans, feeling the energy, so I'm heading right back to sweat it out. I made it right about the same time that a familiar face turned up. But that being said, he didn't miss much. The second half proceeded much the same way as the first half did.
So what will happen now is the 66 minute.
Yep.
Tampines Rovers will score one goal. And then they'll sub me on. I'll do an injury time equalizer that will help LCS to win the league.
And if the result is good, thumbs up, man!
At this point, we were desperate for drama, and we kind of got it. Off the field, it looked like there was a confrontation between fans from both sides. And a fight did break out at the end of the game. Look, banter, passion, that's all part and parcel of football. But violence, that's definitely a no-go. Anyways, back to the game. The on-field entertainment came in the closing stages of the game.
Oh! Joined in, Kobayashi, delivery is deep! Susak!
What a save!
The Sailors keeper, Susak, did well to keep that shot out. That's the kind of save that settles a team, it calms everyone down and gives everyone the composure to see out the game.
Oh!
And with that, it was full time. The Sailors have just sealed their second consecutive league title. The players came over to celebrate the fans, and it was awesome to see them up close. You had players leading the cheers and the songs as well, and that's the sort of interaction that fans live for. And on this day, it was the Sailors fans that had the last laugh. So, are the Sailors the new kings of Singapore football? The club actually started out as Police FC, representing the Singapore Police Force. In their early days, many of their players were actually police personnel. That became a part of the club's identity and history. The club eventually rebranded as Home United to represent the wider Home Team, which are a group of agencies responsible for keeping Singapore safe. So you have the police, of course, but also civil defense and the Ministry of Home Affairs. The fact is that the Sailors have been around for many years, just under different names. But everything changed in 2020. The club was taken over by the C Group and renamed the Lion City Sailors, becoming Singapore's first privately owned football club. This means that they have a lot more resources than the average Singapore Premier League team and the freedom to run operations their way. They built a state-of-the-art training centre, they invested in their youth academy. They also managed to attract players from top leagues around the world. Anderson Lopez came from Japan's J-League, where he was top scorer in 2024. Bart Ramselaar played for PSV, one of the best teams in the Dutch league. Bailey Wright was club captain of Sunderland, who are now in the Premier League. And of course, I would be remiss if I didn't mention Maxime Lestienne, a dazzling winger who played for the Belgium national team. He left the Sailors in end 2025 as a legend and is widely regarded to be one of the best players to ever play in Singapore. At this point, the Sailors don't feel like a club whose ambitions stop at winning the Singapore Premier League title. They've set their sights on the region. They want to compete with the region's best. In 2025, the Sailors reached the finals of the inaugural AFC Champions League 2 competition. They became the first club from Singapore to reach the finals of an Asian club competition. Now, I do think that the Sailors present a very compelling business model for Singapore football clubs. This sport really needs a lot more private investment, and that's exactly what the Sailors got. All football clubs need money to build a solid foundation for success, which are your players, your coaching staff, your youth academy, and your training facilities. Sporting success, getting good results on the pitch, that will then attract more fans, creating this positive loop. But of course, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. I do think there are some issues that are lingering in the background when it comes to the Lion City Sailors. The first issue is when one club is so much better resourced than all the others in the league. This creates a real possibility of a one-team league where you have one dominant team that's winning titles year on year. Eventually, the league loses all sense of jeopardy and excitement. France is a good example. PSG absolutely dominates because it is bankrolled by the state of Qatar. Between 2012 and 2025, I think PSG won 12 league titles, coming second only twice. That is domination. If we're not careful, the Singapore Premier League may well develop in the same way. The second issue, the big elephant in the room, of course, is the man himself, Forrest Lee. He was the one responsible for buying over the club. He also happens to be the chairperson of the Football Association of Singapore. Now, I think this man has done so much for the football development of Singapore, and he has put his money where his mouth is, for sure. But we have to call a spade a spade. Surely there is a conflict of interest when you are heading the football association of a country and you manage a team, you own a team in that very same country. Ultimately, what the Sailors model offers is a blueprint, a case study that Singapore can bring to potential investors to show them and say, hey, there is a business opportunity here. Isn't that what our government is good at, by the way? And with that, thank you very much for watching as always. If you enjoyed it, please do like and subscribe. I'll see you all at the next game. Peace.